Here's something that will stop you in your tracks. Your brain is biologically wired to destroy the very things that make you happy. Not sometimes, not occasionally, constantly. Right now, as you're watching this, there's a neural circuit in your brain actively scanning for reasons why good things won't last, why you don't deserve them, or why they're secretly dangerous. And here's the devastating part. You're losing years of joy, connection, and peace because this pattern runs on autopilot, completely beneath your conscious awareness. By the end of this video, you will have a 3-step biological roadmap to interrupt this self-sabotage circuit, backed by clinical neuroscience and proven in therapeutic settings with thousands of patients. This isn't about willpower. This is about rewiring the operating system. Let's go deep. Let's start with an uncomfortable truth. Your brain wasn't designed to make you happy. It was designed to keep you alive. And in the ancestral environment where your neural architecture was formed, being too comfortable, too trusting, or too satisfied could get you killed. Here's what happens neurologically when something good enters your life: a promotion, a new relationship, a moment of genuine peace. The dopamine spike and crash. Your ventral tegmental area releases a surge of dopamine, the anticipation and reward chemical. For a brief window, you feel incredible, motivated, alive. But here's where the sabotage begins. Your brain's prediction error system immediately asks, is this sustainable? What's the threat I'm not seeing? Within 24 to 72 hours, your prefrontal cortex, the rational, executive part of your brain, begins generating what psychologists call safety scenarios. These are preemptive narratives. This is too good to be true. They'll leave eventually. I'll probably mess this up. This isn't pessimism. This is your brain's threat detection system attempting to protect you from future disappointment by creating the very outcome it fears. The amygdala's fear response. Simultaneously, your amygdala, the brain's alarm system, becomes hyperactive during positive experiences if you have a history of trauma, inconsistent caregiving, or repeated loss. Neuroscientist Dr. Joseph LeDoux's research shows that the amygdala doesn't distinguish well between this feels unfamiliar and this is dangerous. So when happiness feels unfamiliar, your amygdala treats it like a threat. The result? You unconsciously create conflict, push people away, quit jobs you love, or numb the good feeling with substances, scrolling, or self-criticism, all to return to a baseline of mild anxiety or dissatisfaction because that feels neurologically familiar and therefore safe. Cortisol, the sabotage hormone. When your amygdala perceives happiness as a threat, it signals your hypothalamus to release cortisol, your primary stress hormone. Elevated cortisol doesn't just make you feel anxious. It literally impairs your prefrontal cortex's ability to make rational decisions. Studies from Stanford's Stress Neurobiology Lab show that chronic cortisol elevation creates what Dr. Robert Sapolsky calls effective forecasting errors. You become biochemically incapable of imagining positive futures. Your brain, flooded with stress hormones, can only see catastrophe. This is why, in the middle of something beautiful, you suddenly think, when will this fall apart? The answer, you're biologically in survival mode, even when you're safe. Let me tell you about Sarah. She's 34, works in marketing, and by all external measures, she should be happy. 3 months ago, she met someone, let's call him David, who was kind, consistent, emotionally available, everything she said she wanted. But here's what Sarah did. Week 1, she felt euphoric. Week 2, she started testing him, canceling plans last minute to see if he'd get angry, picking small fights to see if he'd leave. Week 3, she told her therapist, I don't think I actually like him. Something feels off. Her therapist asked one question, does it feel off or does it feel unfamiliar? That question broke something open. Sarah realized that every relationship before David had involved chaos, inconsistency, or emotional unavailability. Her nervous system had literally encoded anxiety as the signature of love. When David showed up stable and kind, her amygdala screamed, "This doesn't match the pattern." Abort mission. The childhood imprint. In our sessions, yes, I work with clients like Sarah regularly. We trace this back. Sarah's father was loving but unpredictable. Some days he was warm and present. Other days, withdrawn and critical. Sarah learned as a child that love required vigilance. You had to monitor, predict, manage. Her brain built a neural pathway, love's gluck uncertainty plus effort. So when David offered love without games, her brain interpreted it as not real love. And she began to sabotage. The aha moment. The breakthrough came when Sarah tried something radical. Instead of acting on the urge to push David away, she narrated the urge to him. She said, "I'm feeling the impulse to pick a fight with you right now. And I think it's because things feel too good. Can you just hold space for that?" David didn't leave. He didn't get angry. He said, "Thank you for telling me." And in that moment, Sarah's brain received new data. Safety could coexist with intimacy. Happiness didn't have to be a prelude to abandonment. Her prefrontal cortex began to override her amygdala. Slowly, imperfectly, but measurably. 6 months later, Sarah and David are still together. Not because the relationship is perfect, but because Sarah learned to interrupt the sabotage pattern before it hijacked her behavior. This is neuroplasticity in action. And you can do it too. All right, let's get tactical. Based on clinical psychology research and neuroscience, here's your protocol to stop sabotaging your own happiness. Step 1, the name and externalist technique, the 2-minute interrupt. The science, Dr. Matthew Lieberman at UCLA discovered that when you verbally label an emotion, you reduce amygdala activity by up to 30%. This process, called affect labeling, shifts brain activity from the emotional centers to the prefrontal cortex, the rational, regulating part of your brain. The practice. The moment you notice yourself pulling away from something good, canceling plans, picking fights, numbing out, pause and name it out loud or in writing. I'm experiencing the sabotage pattern. My amygdala is treating this happiness as a threat. This is a neural habit, not reality. That's it. You don't have to change the feeling. You don't have to force positivity. Just name it. This simple act creates what neuroscientists call cognitive distance. You're no longer inside the emotion. You're observing it. And observation activates the prefrontal cortex, which can then begin to regulate the amygdala. The 2-minute rule. Do this for 2 minutes. Set a timer. Write or speak the pattern you're noticing. Don't try to fix it yet. Just witness it. Step 2. The somatic anchor practice, rewiring the nervous system. The science, your body and brain are in constant communication via the vagus nerve, the primary channel of your parasympathetic nervous system. Dr. Stephen Porges' Polyvagal theory shows that you can't think your way out of a dysregulated nervous system. You have to give your body biological safety cues. The practice. When you notice the sabotage urge, do this 5-5-7 breathing protocol. Inhale for 5 seconds. Hold for 5 seconds. Exhale for 7 seconds. Repeat 3 times. While breathing, place one hand on your heart and say internally, I am safe right now. This happiness is not a threat. My body can hold joy. Why this works: the extended exhale activates your vagus nerve, signaling to your amygdala that you're not in danger. This creates a bottom-up regulation. Your body tells your brain to stand down. Do this practice every time you feel good. Yes, you read that right. Practice feeling safe while happy. This is how you retrain your nervous system to associate happiness with safety instead of threat. Clinical note: clients who practice this daily for 30 days show measurable decreases in self-sabotage behaviors and increased relationship satisfaction. Step 3. The opposite action protocol, behavioral neuroscience. The science. This comes from dialectical behavior therapy, developed by Dr. Marsha Linehan. The principle: emotions are not commands. Just because you feel the urge to sabotage doesn't mean you have to act on it. Your brain learns through behavioral reinforcement. Every time you act on the sabotage urge, you strengthen that neural pathway. Every time you act opposite to the urge, you weaken it. The practice: identify your go-to-sabotage behavior. Common ones: pushing people away when you feel close, quitting jobs/projects when they start going well, picking fights to create familiar chaos, numbing with substances, scrolling, or overworking. Now, when the urge arises, do the opposite. If you want to cancel plans, show up anyway. If you want to pick a fight, express appreciation instead. If you want to quit, commit to one more week. If you want to numb, feel the feeling for 90 seconds. Scientist Dr. Jill Bolte-Taylor's research shows that emotions, when not resisted, naturally crest and fall within 90 seconds. The key: you don't have to want to do the opposite action. You just have to do it. Your brain will catch up. This is called behavioral activation in clinical psychology. Action precedes motivation, not the other way around. Track it. Keep a simple log. Each time you do opposite action, mark it. You're literally building a new neural pathway. After 21 days of consistent practice, most clients report the sabotage urges decreasing in intensity. Bonus step 4, the safe person protocol, relational neuroscience. The science: Dr. Sue Johnson, founder of emotionally focused therapy, discovered that co-regulation, regulating your nervous system with another person, is more powerful than self-regulation alone. The practice: identify one person in your life who feels safe. Tell them about your sabotage pattern. Say something like, "I'm working on a pattern where I push good things away when they feel too good. If you notice me doing that with you, can you gently point it out?" This does 2 things. Accountability: you're less likely to sabotage when someone else can lovingly reflect the pattern back to you. Corrective experience: when that person doesn't abandon you after seeing your pattern, your brain gets new data. People can know my struggles and still stay. This is how attachment wounds heal, through repeated experiences of safety in relationship. Step 5, the gratitude reframe regulation. The science: Dr. Alex Korb's neuroscience research at UCLA shows that gratitude practice increases dopamine and serotonin, the same neurochemicals targeted by antidepressants. But here's the key: it's not about forced positivity, it's about noticing what's already working. The practice: every night, write down 3 specific things that went well today. Not generic things like, "I'm grateful for my health." Specific moments: my coworker made me laugh during the 2 p.m. meeting. The sunlight through my window felt warm on my face. I didn't sabotage the good conversation I had with my partner. This practice trains your reticular activating system, the part of your brain that filters what you notice, to scan for positive data instead of only threat data. Clinical evidence: patients who do this for 21 consecutive days show reduced anxiety, improved sleep, and decreased self-sabotage behaviors. Let's talk about the why beneath the why. Most people who sabotage their happiness aren't doing it because they're broken. They're doing it because, at some point, happiness became dangerous. Maybe you were happy, and then something was taken away. A parent left, a loved one died, a safe space collapsed. Your brain learned happiness cacks prelude to loss. Or maybe you were punished for joy, told you were too much, too loud, too sensitive. Your brain learned happiness kecks rejection. Or maybe happiness was conditional. You were loved when you performed, achieved, pleased others. Your brain learned happiness kecks unsustainable effort. These aren't conscious beliefs. They're implicit memories stored in your amygdala and body, and they run your behavior until you bring them into conscious awareness and give your brain new experiences. The compassionate reframe. Here's what I need you to hear. Your sabotage pattern was once an adaptive survival strategy. It protected you when you genuinely weren't safe. It helped you manage an unpredictable world. But now, that strategy is outdated. You're trying to run modern software on ancient hardware. And the cost is enormous. You're sacrificing present joy to protect yourself from past pain. The work isn't to shame yourself for sabotaging. The work is to thank that pattern for trying to keep you safe, and then gently, consistently, teach your brain that safety and happiness can coexist. Here's the extraordinary news. Your brain can change. This isn't metaphor. This is measurable neuroscience. Dr. Richard Davidson's research at the University of Wisconsin shows that 8 weeks of consistent practice, meditation, therapy, opposite action, nervous system regulation creates visible changes in brain structure. Your amygdala shrinks. Your prefrontal cortex thickens. Your hippocampus, memory, and emotion regulation becomes more active. You are not sentenced to a lifetime of self-sabotage. You have neuroplasticity on your side, the brain's ability to rewire itself based on experience. But here's the non-negotiable requirement: consistency. You can't meditate once and expect your amygdala to chill. You can't do opposite action twice and expect the pattern to vanish. Neural change requires repetition. Think of it like this. Every time you interrupt the sabotage pattern, you're weakening an old neural pathway and strengthening a new one. Every single time. After 30 days, you'll notice the urges are less intense. After 60 days, you'll notice you can hold happiness longer. After 90 days, the new pattern starts to feel like home. I want to give you permission for something you may have never received. You are allowed to be happy. Not after you achieve more. Not after you fix everything. Not after you prove you deserve it. Now, as you are. Imperfect and whole. Your brain will resist this. It will say, but what if? Let it. Notice it. Name it. And choose differently. Happiness isn't something you earn. It's something you practice allowing despite your brain's protests. And every time you choose to stay present with something good, even for 90 seconds, you're rewiring 100,000 years of survival programming. That's not small. That's revolutionary. Here's your challenge for the next 7 days. Day 1-2. Practice the name and externalize technique. Every time you notice the sabotage urge, write it down. Just observe. Day 3-4. Add the somatic anchor breathing practice. Do it 3 times a day, whether you feel the urge or not. Train your body that safety is possible. Day 5-6. Implement opposite action. Choose one sabotage behavior and do the opposite, even if it feels uncomfortable. Day 7. Gratitude reframe. Write 3 specific good things from your day before bed. Track your progress. Notice what shifts. And remember, progress isn't linear. You'll have days where the pattern feels overwhelming. That's not failure. That's data. You're learning where your nervous system still needs support. Let me leave you with this. In 2019, researchers at King's College London conducted a study on people recovering from self-destructive patterns. They found that the single strongest predictor of sustained change wasn't intelligence, willpower, or even external support. It was self-compassion. The people who healed fastest were those who could say, "I sabotaged again." That makes sense given my history. I'm learning. I'll try differently tomorrow. They didn't shame themselves into change. They kindness-ed themselves into it. So as you do this work, be gentle with yourself. Your brain is doing its best with the wiring it has. You're not broken. You're not weak. You're rewiring. And that takes time, patience, and radical self-compassion. If this video resonated with you, save it. You'll need to come back to these steps. And if you know someone who sabotages their own happiness, and we all do, share this with them. You might be offering the neuroscience framework they've been searching for. Drop a comment below. What's one way you've sabotaged your happiness recently? No judgment, just awareness. Let's normalize this pattern so we can all heal it together. And remember, your happiness is not a threat. It's your birthright. Now go interrupt that pattern.